Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Hannah Olson and I love posting about motherhood and simple living, intentional living, as well as homemaking and homeschooling. So if you are new, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date. Let's jump into the topic for today's video. We are talking all about tips and tricks for parents of young children. The reason I'm sharing this topic is because over the past couple of months, I've been thinking and reflecting on all of the things that motherhood has taught me so far. I have two little ones. I have a 3.5-year-old daughter, Sophie, and a 1.5-year-old son, Soren. So I'm by no means a parenting expert, a motherhood expert. I do not have it all down, but I just have been thinking and reflecting on all of the things I have learned so far, and it's been encouraging and fun to realize that I have learned some tips and tricks along the way, and I've just been feeling this desire to share it with others, so I wanted to make sure I did that here. My hope is that even one of these little tips and tricks can make your day easier or your day go a little more smoothly. Some of the things I've learned over the years are more of an overarching big picture or perspective shift that I've had to make, something that I've learned that way, and I love reflecting on those too. But other things I've learned have been more of the nitty-gritty, small logistical details that kind of help you move your day along more smoothly. So I'm sharing a whole mix of tips and tricks. I am sharing things that are a big picture realization that I've had or some advice that I've heard, but I'm also sharing some of those little day-to-day I guess you could call them mom hacks that have really helped me too. But I am not coming to you from a place of being a know-it-all or a place of pride. I am in the trenches there with you if you are a parent of young children. My heart is just to make your day go a little bit more smoothly. If this video helps just one person feel like it's a little bit more feasible today, or you have a new trick or tip that you can implement soon, then this is totally worth it to me, because I want to encourage you. Motherhood is not a competition, and I feel passionately about this. Motherhood is not a competition. We should want all moms to succeed. By the way, these tips that I'm mentioning are also part of an email series that I'm running right at the moment, and it's called Mama Tip Tuesday. So every Tuesday I've been sending out new tips and tricks for moms to my email list. So make sure you're subscribed to that email list if you want to see these in a more readable form. I will leave a link below in the description box so that you can easily sign up for that list. All right, let's jump in with our tips. Tip number 1 is to remember that God has picked you to be your child's mom. I'm serious. Think about that. God has picked you to be your child's mom. What an incredible gift that is in itself. That was a piece of advice given to me by another mom, a well-seasoned mom who has 4 children, back when I was expecting Sophie, my firstborn. And I definitely had all of those first-time parent nerves, and I was just trying to feel prepared while at the same time realizing, and probably not realizing, how little prepared I was to be a mom, just because you learn as you go in a lot of the areas of motherhood. And that really resonated with me, and I try to remind other people of that as well when they're feeling a little bit shaky in motherhood. The fact that God has picked you to be your child's mom means that He has not only given you that child as a precious gift, but He has determined that you are the best mom for your child. Your unique giftings, your unique personality, and your talents, and even some of the things that you struggle with, but you can turn your child, you can point them towards Christ. This doesn't mean that you need to feel 100% equipped or 100% like you've got it all together. God equips those who He calls, and He has called you to be your child's mom or your children's mom, and it is just such a precious gift because God is the author of each family's story. So He is writing the story of your family and picking which children will be in your family, and that's just such an incredible thing for me to sit back and kind of soak in. The fact that God has picked me, Hannah, to be Sophie's mom and Soren's mom. Just thinking about that bolsters my motivation and my calling to be the best mom I can possibly be for my children. Hopefully it does that for you too. So always remember, God's the author of your family's story. He has specifically put your children in your family for a reason. We're switching gears for tip number 2. Not all of the tips are that deep, like I said, but those are still very important things to think about. But this one's a little more nitty-gritty or a little bit more practical. And it is that books are a fabulous reset button for your day. So my mom found this to be true with me when I was a little girl, and if I was having an emotionally or behaviorally difficult day, she knew that books were a great reset for us as a family, or just for me. But we would sit on the couch together and read books. And part of that is the snuggling up, cuddling up together with your mom, but part of it is the books themselves. I found that books are a great escape for me. I know they are for countless people. I love reading before bed. If you like James Herriot, that's what I read before bed because it's just so perfectly relaxing for me. But anyway, as a former elementary school teacher, I understand that every child doesn't have the same desire to read or hear a story. Sometimes it's not their strength or just not their interest as much. However, I'd say that it's always worth it. We've all heard that reading is one of the best things that you can do for or with your child. So my suggestion would be to try out reading with your child at an unexpected or unconventional time of the day. And that's when it really feels like a reset button because, you know, we read books before nap time, we read books before bedtime, and also for our homeschool time in the morning. But sometimes during a more stir-crazy moment of the afternoon, try cuddling up with your kids, bringing them onto the couch with you, and reading a story together. You might be surprised with the results, I guess you could say, or the enjoyment that you all get out of it. I have to say, sometimes when our children are being difficult or are acting out, for us, our default can sometimes be to pull away and pull back, try to give them space, try to help everyone calm down, but sometimes the reciprocal is equally as effective as giving people space, and maybe even better. Choosing to close the gap relationally with your child, pull them close, and fill their cup with some positive, focused time can really benefit everyone in the whole family. So I do believe that being intentional with books and just choosing to read books, that time is never wasted. Okay, tip number 3 is a tip more related to babies and toddlers, and that is to have multiple diaper changing stations around your house. So I've never been that great about using a designated changing table in the house. We had that for Sophie when she was brand new, and I would find myself I'd sometimes be so tired at night I'd rather just change her on the floor where I knew everyone was safe and I could sit down, or when I'm conversing with a friend or family member in the living room, I didn't want to have to whisk Sophie away all the way upstairs to her changing table. So I highly recommend prepping at least a couple diaper changing stations that you can have in different parts of your house. We have an upstairs and a downstairs at our place, so I do have one diaper changing station upstairs and one downstairs because that works best for us. But if you have like a single floor house, you could definitely have a diaper changing station in the kitchen or living room area and then one in your child's bedroom. I think this saves so much time, effort, and even the stealing of diapers and wipes from the diaper bag, where you want to make sure that's fully stocked and ready to go at all times. But I mean, if you're anything like me, sometimes you're sneaking over to the diaper bag because you don't have diapers elsewhere, and it's just been so handy for us to always have a fully stocked little diaper changing station in the living room. So I use like a cardboard box, something like that. It doesn't have to be cute, it just has to be functional, and I stock it up with diapers, wipes, and bum cream. We call it bum cream. Our favorite is one called like Boudreaux's butt paste, so I'll link that below if you're interested. I think it's at Target and other places, but we love that bum cream. So we've got diapers, wipes, bum cream, and then also a changing pad or a changing mat. I really like the Eddie Bauer brand ones. I think they're really sturdy and durable, so I have one of those in our diaper bag and one in our living room changing station. Then the only trick is to make sure you keep those diaper changing stations fully stocked, so just always assess when you walk through the living room if you need to grab maybe 6 or 7 more diapers from upstairs or from your child's bedroom, wherever your diaper stash is, and make sure those are fully stocked and ready to go. I know it might seem a little less private having a diaper changing station, you know, that you can just pull out from under the coffee table or something in the living room, but I found it's totally worth it still because I can continue conversing with a friend while changing my baby, and that just allows us to continue with our conversation or our hangout time. So it's nice to be able to stay in one location all together. Tip number 4 is to get up before the kids. Now, I know that certain seasons it doesn't go super well, and full disclosure, I'm in a season where I am not getting up before the kids, but I love it. I love how it feels. I want to get back into that hopefully sometime this summer, and I just wanted to recommend that strategy here, make sure I included it in these tips. I understand that life with a newborn or other developmental leaps that happen or crazy schedules, late nights can make it extra hard to make that work, but if you can at all, try to get up before your kids. Now that can mean even getting up 5 minutes before your kids wake up. If they tend to wake up at 7:30, try waking up at 7:20 or 7:25 if your kids are really like clockwork that way. And just being able to splash some water on your face or grab breakfast or fix some tea or coffee real quick can make all the difference with you feeling more prepared for the day instead of the day kind of happening to you. I personally feel like getting up even a couple minutes before the kids do helps move my day in a more positive direction, because then I don't have the attitude of the kids are whining or the kid, you know, when they're just even calling for you. Sometimes they're not even that sad in the morning, but then they don't feel like an inconvenience to you. Then you feel prepared for the day. It kind of jump starts your day and you hit the ground running. All right, tip number 5 is a fun one, and that is to make up little songs or chants or phrases to go along with your daily routines. This one definitely comes from the former elementary teacher in me. Children respond super well to rhymes and repetition and music. So whenever you can incorporate that into your day, even in a goofy or, you know, super weird way, quirky way, that is just fine. Your kids will go with it, and it honestly helps them throughout the day. I personally think that rhymes and songs that you make up can help your children to know the expectations or like the direction a task needs to go. And the sooner that we can, or the more quickly that we can help our children know our expectations for the day or for a certain routine in the day, the better. So it's kind of like a jingle or a little short song that you know from a commercial that you've seen. You're basically thinking of ways to make little jingles for your children throughout the day. So it may sound silly, but I've found that these little songs or chants or phrases that you make up get woven into the fabric of each day, and they help things run a lot more smoothly. Okay, so I'm not a singer, but I'll sing just 5 words for you. I grew up with a song that went, "Wood against wood says ouch," and it was 5 words, and that was just a little jingle, 5 words that my mom would sing to remind us as kids not to slam our wooden dining chairs into the wooden dining table, because that would obviously hurt the wood, and we needed to learn to be respectful of other people's things, respectful of furniture, and not hurt things, obviously, not break things. But this is how my mom was so intentional, is she made up a little song for it to proactively or positively remind us of something, as opposed to what she could have done, which is just to yell at us and say, "Hey, I told you not to slam your chair into the table." So there's a lot of positive ways to use these little jingles and rhymes. It's kind of like setting the precedent, or the expectation, I guess is a better word. So you're setting the expectation for what you shouldn't do. Mom didn't sing that every single time we sat down, but if she kind of saw us being a little bit more rough with the chairs or getting a little hyper, that's when she would, you know, insert that little jingle into the day. So wood against wood says ouch is always ingrained in me, if you like a good pun. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so I have to say, if you're not a naturally singy person, which I am when I'm in front of my kids, I just do goofy things all day long, but if you're not naturally like breaking out into song, that's okay. Life doesn't have to be a musical for you, and you can just hold true to your personality and the type of mom you are. But I definitely still recommend making up a little chant too, and I'll give you an example of how I use a chant with my own kids. When Sophie, my 3.5-year-old, was a baby, I started out right away pretty much using a phrase, when we rest, we feel our best. And I just rhymed it, you know. But when we rest, we feel our best. And that's what I even chant to the kids as I'm leading them upstairs in the evenings when people maybe are griping about going to bed, not quite wanting to go to bed yet. I just remind my kids, when we rest, we feel our best. When we rest, we feel our best. Not in an obnoxious way, not multiple times, but it's just that little phrase that gets incorporated, like I said, into the fabric of our day. And it just helps the kids to remember that that truth. It's just become part of our moving toward bedtime routine during the day and, well, during the evening, and it's really helped the kids. I think that it'll just kind of become ingrained in them a little bit that when I rest, I feel my best, and that is obviously something important and helpful for all of us to realize. Of course, we all feel our best when we rest, so that's just a little phrase I use. Another example of a phrase we use every single day, because we are usually exiting the house at some point of the day going on errands and stuff, is the second we come back inside. So when I push open the front door and I bring the kids inside, we're stepping through the front door, I chant, shoes off, coat off, wash hands. Shoes off, coat off, wash hands. And I actually don't do it twice. I'm just repeating it for you. You don't have to like run around chanting, you know, incessantly for your children. But I say shoes off, coat off, wash hands, you know, in a positive way. And at this point, it's really worked well for Sophie, who's 3.5, like I said. She's that preschool age, and she knows, oh, okay, shoes off. She quickly does the Velcro on her shoes, kind of kicks them towards the front door, or puts them when we're at our apartment. That's a whole story, but when we're at home, she puts them by the front door. At the apartment, she puts them in the entryway closet, and she knows next I take off my jacket, and she gives that to Mama, and then we go to the kitchen or to the bathroom sink to wash our hands together. So shoes off, coat off, wash hands is just a fabulous little chant that we do. It's not fancy at all, but I mean, you can see how easy this is. So just think about some of the rules or the routines that you do every day, and or just household rules like that wood against wood says ouch one. It just helps your day run more smoothly, helps your kids to know some expectations in a positive way, and then you're not chasing them around kind of yelling at them reactively either. Tip number 6 is to use a mat instead of a blanket for outdoor time or park or picnic time. Use a mat instead of a blanket. And I used to have just kind of an old duvet or comforter thing, kind of a thick blanket idea, but I used to fold it up, toss it in the van, or bring it outside to try to drape it on the grass, but I'd find it would get leaves and grass and twigs even kind of stuck on it, and then that's just no fun to shake off after you've been outside. Even though it was our designated outdoor blanket, it still got stuff on it, and that was just frustrating, and it made our outing a little less positive feeling when you have that kind of cleanup to do afterwards. So enter Sonder mats. This is not sponsored. I've actually worked with Sonder mats in the past though before. These are mats that are faux leather, so they're similar to those gather mats that are so lovely too, but I love my Sonder mats. They are so beautiful and they are high quality. These are faux leather and they are sold on Amazon, so I will link below the 2 sizes, if I can find the same colors, that we have, just so you can see. I've found that Sonder mats work really well at the beach. I can shake sand off of them really easily. I can wipe melted popsicles drippings off of them really well. They don't get horribly stained. You can wipe them down really nicely too. We have 2 different sizes. We have a double-sided one that is the 80 inch by 80 inch, I think. And that one can hold our whole family, or like the kids and me and friends and their kids. So that's a nice size if you want to have a big family picnic or a place to crash at the park or beach or something. And then we also have like a 54 by 54 inch one. The 54 inch square one works well for just the kids and myself at the park, and it's slightly easier to fold up because it's not as big. So I love our Sonder mats, and I will link them below. Like I said, they are just so easy to use. So I had to make sure to include those in our tips. Tip number 7 is to challenge yourself with a built-in speedy cleanup session. What I mean when I say a built-in cleanup session is the fact that our lives are run by so many time-oriented machines these days. Like, we have a microwave going for a certain amount of time, we've got a timer on the oven if we've got food cooking in there, even a crock pot, although that's usually a longer amount of time, and some laundry machines, like washer and dryer, they have sometimes a timer on them as well, so you can see how many minutes are left. So these time-oriented machines actually provide us with pockets of time that we can use for productive purposes. So I like to see how much tidying up I can do in the kitchen in the 2 minutes before the microwave beeps, or for a longer amount of time, I like to see how much I can get done, like how much I can pick up in the living room or something, or maybe going through the mail in the 10 minutes before the oven is done. So it works really well just to challenge yourself to see how much I can get done. I like air quotes. to see how much I can get done in X number of minutes. And I've found that sometimes that just gets the ball rolling on motivation, but you don't need to tackle some huge organizational or decluttering task. These are for those little blitzes. Some families call them a cleaning blitz too. So something that's just a short amount of time. I've actually found that even putting on a song, so that's not a time-oriented machine, but putting on a song to challenge yourself to see how much you can clean up in the 3.5 minutes works really well too. So that concludes today's video. I hope it was helpful and encouraging to you. Of course, it was a whole bunch of random topics, but I feel like sometimes that allows you to pick and choose and find something that is actionable that you can implement today. I would love to hear in the comments below if you plan on trying any of these out, or maybe your family makes up fun, silly songs during the day too to help the day run more smoothly. So I'd love to hear about that. Please give this video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe. I don't know yet how many more videos I'll be doing of motherhood tips here, but I do share about motherhood on my channel, as well as homemaking, homeschooling, all sorts of things. So make sure you subscribe. I do also want to remind you to subscribe to my email list if you aren't already on that list, because I am sending out weekly emails with tips like these. The tips I shared in today's video are actually from emails from week 1 and week 2 of this Mama Tip Tuesday series I'm doing, but obviously those were weeks in the past, and we have more coming a little bit more quickly than I will be recording these videos. So again, I don't know how many more tips videos I'll be doing like this. I would love to do more, but make sure you're on that email list as well. Hope you're having a great day wherever you're at, and I'll see you guys in my next video.